Hello and welcome to the Flock Podcast, brought to you by the Flocky Network, which is a little bit of everything. Tonight, we have very special return guests, Paul and Derek. And tonight, we're going to be talking about ley lines and the Earth's energy and the Earth's chakras and how all of this shit connects and lines up. So if you like what you hear and you dig the vibe and you want to support the Flock, make sure you visit that Buy Me a Coffee page. From there, you can get a membership. You can get some flocking merch. You can sign up to be on the show. You can join the Telegram. Everything is in the clickables. And if you want to be on the show, there is a link for that as well. So everything will be in the show notes for that. And on that note, let's get into this topic. So you guys sent me a whole bunch of stuff. And this is kind of going to be stemming off of the live that Derek and I did last month? It was a couple shows ago. And Paul was like immediately texting me out. He's like, I have thoughts on this. And I was like, well, let's do a show. So this is the first time that we're doing a double guest on the Flock podcast. And I'm here for this. I'm here for it. So we kind of ended that last live with you, Derek, and Paul. Thank you for recapping me behind the scenes. We kind of ended that talking about the ley lines and how everything kind of like lines up with these other huge like canyons and monuments and monoliths and churches and all sorts of other stuff. So that's what we're going to be getting into tonight on that topic. But first, let's go through here. Hello, everyone. What's up, Alex, Purple Princess? What's up, Crazy Rob, Karma? Who else we got? We got Melissa, Bax. Hello, everyone. Hello. I saw you guys in here in the chat super early. What's up, Melissa? Miss Cindy?
Oh, yeah. I can't see the chat for how I have to record this.
Oh, Heather. We got Heather. I'll pull up you can see the comments, though, when I pull them up, right, Paul?
Yep.
Okay. What's up? How are we tonight? There's Thomas, Alicia. Hello, grand evening. We're here doing the things. I almost said grand rising. I guess it still works.
It works.
All right, go.
Well, so I guess at the end of the last episode, what I was texting you about is I had just listened to somebody go just over like the history of ley lines and how it came to be known in our current, modern day mythos and whatnot. So I thought I could just go over that a little bit and we can discuss, because one of the things they said ties into earth chakras and then go from there. But, I think most people have heard of ley lines and, have a general understanding of, their energy lines that grid around the earth. But if you want to pull up one of those maps, just as a general, these are just quick Googles, but to give people an idea, like the general current is that they're lines of energy across the earth, and they're multicultural. You find them in a lot of ancient civilizations where temples or ritual places or things are found at intersections of these energy points, essentially. And that's across the globe. China called them dragon lines, and part of the mythos there was that these were the lines that the ancient dragons walked, which gave the ground and the area's energy. Thought that was interesting.
So this is how all of the energy lines are assumed to look when they all come. So what we're talking about is where they convert right here, right? Like these star looking points. This is where significant energy hits, and it kind of lines up with your chakras. Like your heart has 108 energy lines that all converge in your heart chakra. So this would be like the chakras of Gaia. And you sent me a couple other ones here too. Like,
I didn't realize that one was that small.
But okay, I can blow it up a little bit. It'll just be blurry, but you get the general idea.
We'll come back to this one because it ties in with the earth chakras when I get there. Because you see the darker points that kind of coincide. You can find different maps, and some people have them differently. I don't think there's any, set source on this stuff. But anyway, needless to say, even though they've been around, since ancient times as far as how things are built, the way we understand them currently was first coined in actually 1921. And it was in the UK by some dude just on top of a hill looking down and noticing that all these not ancient, but all these churches and, things that were older buildings or monuments lined up. And so just through observation, he started this, hypothesis. He got maps. He laid out a bunch, but he's the one who keyed the term ley lines, and it actually came from the fact that in his observations, most of the towns that had these places ended in ley, like Dudley, or, you know, it's in the UK, so think of weird town names, but that's where the name came from. And he actually didn't believe there was any energy or spirituality or anything tied to it. He was just more an archaeologist making observation, and he kind of prophesized, or however you say the word, that they were, you know, ancient roads or whatnot, or places where there were clearings that people could travel and migrate, and that intersection points is where, you know, towns or monuments or whatnot would be built as like landmarks or whatever it happens to be. And then just progressing through like the 1920s and 30s, it took a little bit of fascination because he had written about it. In the 50s and 70s, people started tying these lines to UFO sightings. What was this? Yeah, so that was...
There's more UFO sightings that happen over where these energy points converge than anywhere else.
Yeah, there was one story they mentioned that it was in France, and if you plot out these 20 different sightings, they lay out a grid over France, and they're all at intersection points where the sightings happen. So, you know, from there, it went into the 70s and the, you know, psychedelics of the 70s, and that's when it kind of got written about and pulled into the spirituality realm of, you know, it has cosmic energy as well as physical energy. And one of the lines that led me to the earth chakra part was that some people consider them the veins and arteries of the planet. Like, that's considering the planet's a living thing. Like, you know, I know we talk about the Schumann resonance a lot, and I just thought that was, you know, an interesting way to look at it. But that
well, because I agree with you on that the ley lines tie into the Schumann resonance, right? Because if the Schumann resonance is gathering the frequency of the earth, essentially the heartbeat of Gaia, right? If we consider, because that ties in with the planetary ascension theory and all of these other things, so it would make sense that that's what they're measuring. Like, if you were to put, I don't know, I just think of like a heart monitor, right? Like, if you're watching the line, like, this is like the lines of the, like, that's what they're measuring. That's the Schumann resonance. That's what they're measuring.
Well, and from an energy standpoint as well, like, you know, veins and arteries, they're blood flow in two different directions to your heart in as far as the circulatory system. But on an energy field, that means there could be positive or negative ley lines. And this could be a reason why you walk into some place and you just feel off about it, like something doesn't feel right. That could be an intersection of a couple, you know, negative lines or whatnot. And
yeah, they've actually had towns and buildings proposed to be built that they turned down because of this. So towns that were built, like in New Palestine, Ohio, is one. It's actually was originally Palestine, Ohio, and it was early days of supposedly the whole limestone era, but it doesn't really add up. They built a town and then they tore it down. I mean, and this town was in the running to be the capital of Indiana, so this wasn't like a podunk town. And then they had mysterious...
Wait, Indiana or Ohio?
It's Indiana. Palestine, Ohio. It's what is Bedford, Indiana. I mean, Palestine, Indiana is what Bedford, Indiana today. So we have like Hoosier National Forest and Lake Monroe, Big Lake. And then, you know, there's just a lot of things that don't add up. But this is one thing that I thought about when I was reading about this town, is maybe this was one of those negative ley lines. And then if you look at it as a chakras, all of the chakra points are between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So it's the sine wave. So just like the sine waves in our DNA, it's in energy. It's also only has highs and lows between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, which is at 23.4 degrees. If you look at that backwards, that's 432, like 432 hertz. And it's exactly on that line of 23.4 degrees. And this is where they do a great job at misinformation, is because they print books and the books are in 23.5. Well, if you have a mind that's a thinker and can connect dots as a kid or learning, and you're like, they have all these numbers all over the place, but the actual number is 23.4, which is 432 backwards. So, these ley lines control, like you said, it controls that Earth's resonance. And, there's highs and lows in the sine wave. And that's probably correlates to like high electromagnetism days, you know what I mean? Like high electroactivity, where we have these days where we just feel like we're wiped out,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that ties in also to because we do the Flocker Zoom, the Flock features every Friday. We'll watch either a movie or lately we've been on a documentary kick. And I know everybody's going to come at me for the way that I say that. But we watched one recently about the monoliths and the crop circles and how these circle rock formations and like these crop circles, not only do they line up with these ley lines and these energy field, but there is a significant increase in energy, even in the crop circles. Like they would take electromagnetic waves and they would measure that, and it would be stronger inside the circle. Just like these rock circles, they would be used for meditation areas. This is where all of these ley lines are converging. It's like they were marking those areas for us, like our ancestors, these extraterrestrial beings. They're marking these areas to let us know, hey, this is the spot. Like, this is where you need to go. This is how you heal.
Right. And if you think about like us doing Kundalini, right? Like we have this energy, then we have the potential to amp it up, the breath of fire and Kundalini yoga, certain, practices like this. Well, what if these ley lines were amped up? Jupiter's energy amped them up. This is where you get things like the Grand Canyon, which is it's fractal burning, but on a large scale.
And like the jumper cables and
the wood. On the wood. That's exactly what it looks like.
Fractal electricity. And this is how all of our rivers and streams and creeks were formed once upon a time. But then it's also like because like it can't be a river, the Grand Canyon. There's no washout. There's no fill out. There's no gulf.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and if you've ever seen the crystal pockets in Mexico, like under what we were talking about earlier, that 24-degree parallel from Africa to Durango, Mexico, from there to the Grand Canyon, it is just like the most desolate area ever, right? But everybody talks about this energy. Like it's weird they don't build there, like Texas and Arizona, New Mexico. Like they just don't build there. It's odd.
You're right. It's a big empty part. And in that crop circle one, it pointed out that a lot of it happens within this triangle, which got me thinking about positive and negative ley lines. That could be, intersection points triangled by positive lines or something, where the Bermuda Triangle was another high energy ley line intersection
you guys hear
point.
That? Is that Paul?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't change anything.
Your voice is cracking. It just started.
How about now?
It's still cracking. You were fine, and then it just started.
I didn't change anything.
I know. I watched your hand. You didn't touch nothing.
Any better?
No, it's terrible. Batteries may be dying. It's Paul. Okay.
This is that map you were going to save for next time, I thought.
No, I didn't got that one. Is it better? Do a sound check, Paul.
Is this any better?
No.
I'd rather do it, handle it now than
right?
I've seen some podcasts where they just let it go for like 20, 30 minutes,
Well, it gets I know that it's especially people listening with headphones and stuff, it does get a little, the static of it. We're going to let him connect here. Well, I pulled this one up because I saw, you can't see where my mouse is, because I saw that, and this reminded me of that fractal.
Yes. Yeah.
That fractal there. And then the way that like the energy lines, they do eventually make those sacred geometry shapes, right? Like that spiral.
Yeah.
What's it called? What's the pen thing?
Spirograph. Yeah. Spirograph.
All right,
Yeah,
Paul.
so this is the moon, but yeah, you're right. And that's how like these ley lines were made, is if you take the longitude and latitude and then you apply math to it, which is base root mathematics, so like square roots of roots and prime numbers, it will perfectly point out, just like the seed of life is perfectly spaced out. It'll perfectly, space out all these dots, and you can connect them. And then if you connect them, that is what the torus field is in a 3D physical version or 2D physical version that we can look at,
How's your sound now, Paul? Nope. I have no sound now. We have zero sound. We'll get this figured out. What is so the other thing I did a whole thing, and this is one of the things, like getting back to like the roots of like doing the map and all sorts of other things like that, like going back to the basics of stuff. I was flipping back through my notes, and I remember doing a whole video, like this was 15, 16 accounts ago. I did a whole video on sacred geometry, and it talked about the 64 tetrahedron, which is like what it would look like moving, right? And it turns into this spiral, into this like the
Exactly.
DNA and all of the other things that as it's moving through. How are we doing, Paul? You're still muted. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It is. That's exactly what it is.
Go ahead. Try logging out and coming back in, Paul.
Yeah, the basis to all this, it lies within the pyramid, 720 degrees, it's 72, it's that the pyramid, it's the Star of David, the tetrahedron, exactly what you said. I mean, that is like the basis of life. Like even the earth, down to our every cell is down to a pyramid,
So we have a question here from Mike. Do the ley lines go across the Mideast?
Yeah, oh yeah, they go everywhere. I mean, the ley lines. So I think there's different versions of ley lines, but the chakra points, the root chakra, it happens to be pretty close to Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, what are the odds that the root chakra is in Sin City or really close to Sin City? Like, is that just a coincidence, I don't think so.
I don't believe in coincidences anymore.
And then how are we, bud?
Did it make a difference?
I mean, we have sound now. It's just still terrible.
If I don't have headphones or something on, I can't hear you guys. So.
It's like worse. Damn. If you don't have
earbuds,
you can't hear us.
You have like earbuds you could put in?
The static just stopped.
Must be his hair. He's electrified.
It's buzzing.
Now?
No, it's buzzing, like consistently. I don't know what. It was fine when we started, and then all of a sudden it just.
Well, if it's bad, I mean, I don't know what you.
If you log in, I'm gonna mute you. But if you log in just on your phone without any headphone, you can't hear us at all. Oh my God! Now his internet's cutting out. It's like his. It's okay.
I don't know.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's like frying pan sizzling is what it sounds like, and it's consistent. It's not. It's like even going over when I'm talking, so it's not even cutting it out. You want to try it one more time? Fuck.
You said this is the first time with dual, like with having 3 people?
Well, not for StreamYard, just for my podcast. No,
Okay.
we did like panels and shit where we had like 10 people on here. And it was fine. We were talking backstage, like everything was good. We started the live, and then it was like all of a sudden it like cut out.
Yeah.
It's Tony. Yeah.
So yeah,
they don't want Paul to say whatever they want, whatever he wants to say. Fuck. We were talking about energy lines, and where were you?
So the root chakra is really close to Vegas. It's right in there, right? It's at Mount Shasta. And then so you go up to the next chakra on the body, and that is in Lake Titicaca. That's in South America. And then the solar plexus is in Hawaii, where the volcanoes are at. And so it kind of then it wraps around, but it's interesting to think about it like globe versus round versus a sheet of paper, right? Because everything you see is all the old school version, laid out version of the Earth, but it's all within that equator. And then when you look at the
oh my God,
what is going
now
on?
it's clicking. This is crazy. Just speak for a second.
What is going on?
What is happening right now? Thank you. This is so weird. Paul, we're going to have to reconvene with this one. I'm sorry. Now you sound like a robot. Like, this is going back to like garage days when it was fucking up. All right, Paul, we'll reconvene. Fuck. He's going to have to watch that back.
Yeah, I'm not a tech guy, so I have no idea. I'm lucky. I'm barely lucky enough to get hooked up to one of these things.
I don't know. Like, it was fine. And then all of a sudden it just started going sideways. Shit. Yeah, I didn't think it could get worse either. It's like a metronome. Paul, you got handlebars playing in the background.
Oh, that's funny.
The aliens invaded Paul's headphone. I'm just in these comments right now. Okay. Fuck. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna be doing this again then, because we gotta get Paul's stuff in here now. So where do you want to go with this then?
I don't care. We can save it for Paul when we can finish on a squirrel tangent, whatever you want to do. I don't care. I'm game.
We can finish on a squirrel because I know that Paul had like notes on this, and that was the whole thing. So we're gonna take it.
Yeah. Like I was just gonna be the filler. I was just gonna fill in some like numbers stuff,
Yeah. Now we're dealing with. So unfortunately, Paul was supposed to. We were gonna have this whole live, and now we got fucking sound issues.
That's all right. That's
out of nowhere. When Rob said, yeah, definitely aliens. I don't know what was happening. I'm hoping Paul shows up in the chat though, because damn. All right, well, we're gonna post. Okay, we're gonna. Hi, how are you? We're going to Paul. There he is. It's okay. I don't know what happened, and I really don't think that it's your fault because everything was fine from the jump. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna table this whole three-way discussion here that we were having because y'all brought notes and we're prepared, and I don't want to miss out or have half of that conversation. I mean, because the three of us, we had like sidebars about this, and like this was planned, so I don't want to fuck that up, and I don't want Paul to miss out on that opportunity that we planned for and everything. So we're going to Derek, I guess. What do you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, I'm game. How about let's ask somebody if they have a question. Like I can roll off that.
Okay.
If they like numerology, the torus field, Bible, I don't really care.
Okay, well, I have a question. How about that?
Okay.
Let's break down numerology really quick. Can we do that? Okay, so what is the difference between like numerology and gematria?
I feel gematria. So the grimoire, the English language is so confusing. When you get into gematria, I feel like when you're looking at it three different ways from languages that have been changed and manipulated so much, I take gematria with a grain of salt because it's, you know what I mean? Like the English language is witchcraft at its finest, right?
Well, right. And if they're rearranging and adding in letters and taking them out, then it's going to change the root meaning of it. I agree with
Right.
you.
Yep. And like, so if you go back to the original Hebrew 22 letters, each letter matched the cymatic. Everything was natural. You read right to left, which means you use more of your feminine, your creative brain. So numerology, I just feel like there's a spiritual numerology and there's physical numerology. And so like in the Bible, you okay?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So like there's spiritual coding and there's physical coding, and then when you're born, like you have your day, month, but then you have your year as well. I mean, it's just like the zodiac. It doesn't define you, but it does kind of like make sense. Like when you break down your birth date and your year, you get your life path. Like I'm a life path 9. I'm a multiple reincarnate. I'm a tortured artist. It's like you want to help people, but people don't want to be helped. That's what I feel like a tortured artist is, right? Like you want to spread love in a world that is more electric and more, not really for love. And so I'm a life path 9. What life path are you?
I'm a 5. And
You're
I'm
a
also
5.
a Kua 5 too.
Okay. Have you ever done the Enneagram, like for like business, like a sales, like the Enneagram? There's so many of them.
I did this one a while ago when I was working at Hazelton, and it was like a 40-page breakdown of like what type of like it was your color, like what color are you? And it
Yeah.
I think it was the same type of thing.
Yeah.
It was like you're determined and driven and like natural leader and like all this shit. I'm like, why is this stack of paperwork calling me out right now? Like, I don't know how I feel, because this was a long time ago, like before I did a deep dive into all of this stuff. And then like I've done, I've my zodiac, there's parts of that. I feel there's so much of it that, take what resonates and leave the rest. Like,
Right.
am I hardcore a Virgo? Yes, to some degree, 120 fucking percent. Am I completely organized and a neat freak? No.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
So you can break down your birthday, and you add everything together until you get to a 1 through 9. You just keep adding it. So like my birthday is 9/4/1990. So I would add 9 plus 4 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9. And then I would add that, though that's a double digit number. So then you add that double digit number together and you keep doing that until you get one number. Am I correct on this?
Yes, unless you are
An
an
11.
11, a 22, or a 33.
Then you stop.
Yeah. Which I think that those are kind of just maybe an extra bit of energy. Let's say a 33, it's maybe 3 energy with an, extra little something to it, right? Like, I don't know what because that to me breaks down to 6.
Right.
Um,
So these numbers, it's another like tool of understanding. If it's another
Right.
way to look at your life and how your energy correlates with everything and your being here, your time on like where your path lines up. Like this ties into, so it uses your birthday, right? Which is going to go into your star chart, which is going to pull all of that information. And I strongly believe, like, here's my thing, is I struggle with the whole planets being planets and like chasing the sun and all of that. So if they're portals, right, then our zodiac sign is, and like our soul's map of which portals we went through at which time in which order to get here, right? That's how you get your rising and your moon sign and your sun sign and all that shit, right? Which then ties into your life path number, which is just another added piece of that.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, you like to say you're a Scorpio or Virgo, like there's 30 degrees of that. You can be in the middle, you can be leaning one way or another. But what I think the coolest part about it is when you can syncretize and you can use numbers to go like, okay, Bible to physics to history, like all these numbers are repeating and you see them. And like the whole, like 369, it's clearly, those are big numbers for me. And like I sought out to figure those out. And it wasn't until like 2 years after looking into those numbers that I realized those are in my birth date. And so like November 1st is 11-1. That's 3. And then 1986, well, that breaks down to a 6. And then 3 and 6 gives me my life path, which is a 9. 3, 6, and 9. But then I think that, okay, it's never going to go any deeper. Well, I talk about 24 and 42 all the time. Well, I was born at 624. 2 and 4 is 6. So, and then I talk about 6. I talk about how 6 is not bad, and 24 and 42 literally all the time. And I just figured that out not very long ago, right? Like, so we're always learning and growing.
Mine's always 72 and 27. And as soon as you said your birth time, I was born at 6:27 at night.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, 72 is, I mean, that's the number one. That is probably the most important number in all of math, in my opinion. Like, once you get outside of the 6, like 6 is just to make the man, like 72, you know, there's a reason why there was a 27 club, you know what I mean? Like, it's energy and it's numbers and how they manipulated those.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Because they couldn't get Bob Marley at 27, but they got him at 36. 3 and 6 is 9. He was a life path 9.
March 30th, 66 has followed me my whole life. See, and I don't think that 66 or 666, that's not like they made that the sign of the devil. Like, that's not like, if you look that up in like an angel number book, it's going to tell you that you're being too focused on material objects. And like, it's not evil. Like, they,
so no, it's creation. So in the middle of your 72, a pyramid is 720 degrees. Well, in that is 3 angles. They're all 3 60-degree angles. It's an equilateral triangle. So 60, 60, 60, that is the spark of creation. That is the 369 in my Vortex math videos. That is the spark. All 3 of those signs of the zodiac are all fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, right? Like, there's all these things. These are what we call syncretisms. And then you just, numerology adds to it. And so like Google, right? If you're going to Google, you're on www. Well, our direct translation from English to Hebrew, that W to translate the letters into numbers is a 6. So when you type out Queen of the Flock, you type out 666. Well, what are you doing? You're manifesting, you're creating, you are literally translating the natural. If anybody who got questions, you should watch Dance of the Hebrew Alphabet by Stan Tenen. It's in the 90s, but he explains the torus field, the ethereal draw of the hyperbola energy, and he makes it all into his hands, showing like this whole realm is in God's hands. But it's weird how it all lines up, and it's odd how like the cymatics match, the letters match. And then when you get into like the deep occult stuff and you figure out you've just been typing 666 this whole time in front of your Google search, it's pretty ironic.
And then I was gonna bring up, you know, because if you go down the other path of the rabbit holes, right, you're gonna find the dark shit. You're gonna find the Illuminati and the Xenon. You're going to find the satanic cult stuff. You're going to find all that. And the reason they're using this, they've hijacked it. It's no different than the swastika, which isn't even German. It's fucking Sanskrit. And it was racist, and they fucking flipped it and turned it evil. And now you can't say swastika without immediately going to Nazis. And like, if you were to go, like, I distinctly remember I was living in Korea. And I was walking down one of the alleys. First of all, they carpet their sidewalks, which is why I now put carpet outside. Yeah, it's wonderful, actually.
Right.
Like, if you trip and fall, you're landing on carpet. Like, it's old shredded carpet that they like spray on the sidewalk, and then over time it just like packs down, and it was wild. But they had swastikas all over the buildings, but it wasn't the swastika. It was the original one because it means peace.
100%. You know, remember earlier in this, I brought up Bedford, Indiana, right? The Palestine, which is Bedford. Just south of there, we have a really famous casino. This is where Larry Bird is from, French Lick, Indiana. Well, this is one of those buildings that's like old Tartarian, like they can't really prove where it ever came from. It was the largest standing like glass dome in the world. until the in the middle of the woods in Indiana, the largest like dome structure in the world. Like, how does that make sense? But all they turned it into a hotel and they covered the banister. Well, if you lift up the banister, it's all swastikas. It's all like ancient like symbolism.
Shitmess wants to know if you're from Indiana.
Yeah.
She's also
That
from
I am.
Indiana. That's why she wants to know. She's nosy.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm from Indianapolis.
Hey.
So, but yeah, it's the numbers. So everything is a torus field, right? Like that's what I think our chakras are. They're spiritual torus fields within us.
Yeah, the energy is just cycling right through.
Right.
And then when you get those blocks in your chakras, when you have that stored energy, it's your torus field is going to be cut off. It's not going to be able to flow.
100%. And this is what deep occult alchemy is. That's what led into gold, is knowing your body, your vessel, and transmuting energy. And like when you have stuck energy, right? That's how you like disease. That's how you get stuck energy, and the next thing you know, you start having health problems.
Yep. Exactly. Can I go on a tangent really quick?
Go.
Okay. Hi, welcome. For anybody else, I'm just going to go off of your comment really quick. And for anybody else that's new here, and Derek's actually pretty new to the flock, so you can attest to this if you want. But I do speak for everyone on this. My clickables are amazing. Like you said, I wish you would have found this channel earlier. Wait till you hit Telegram. Like, wait till you hit the rest of the clickables. Literally go through my link tree, my link forest, I call it. You're going to find every answer to any possible question that you could have. You want to know about a book that I'm talking about? It's in the book list. You want to know about the maps that we're talking about? They're in the Great Awakening Telegram chat. Like, everything is set up. Everything is a step-by-step process. There is a little bit of a process to get into my Telegram, but it is to keep everybody safe and 100% fucking worth it. There's 12 chat groups that are all broken into individual topics. So if you're looking for something, it's like a stored server, right? Because Telegram does all of the work and it keeps all of the files, and you can just scroll through the pictures if you want. You can just scroll through the links if you want. You don't even have to scroll through the whole chat. So everything is set up for you. So if you're new here, I highly recommend clicking the clickables. Like, I don't just say that for my health. I say that for you. Okay. back to whatever show this is that we're doing now.
Hey, that's where I thrive in chaos and.
So how do you ground?
Let me
ask you this. How do you ground?
How do I ground?
Have you grounded yet today? What thoughts are running through your head? Like, how do you ground yourself? What are some ways?
Usually that's at the end of my day. It's sun gazing and literally grounding, so it's feet barefoot. Yeah, like that's where I'm not a winter person. I'm a Scorpio. Like I get to, January and then I'm over it. I'm ready for summertime. But no, I do a lot of sun gazing and grounding. I mean, that's my thing is nature. I love nature.
I'll also do that I'll literally like sit on the ground. Like I'll sit on the ground. I also, now that it's getting warmer out, not every day I do this. But I did start getting back into doing yoga, which I've set aside for a while. And here's some vulnerability about the queen. I live on 50 acres alone. I'm doing naked yoga in the sun in my front yard. Like that's what's happening. The child's down for a nap. I'm going to do naked yoga in the sun when it's warm enough. That's how
I think honestly, like, let's be real. Like, let's
look over my house now.
but if we look back, let's say we know the Egyptians were advanced, right? Well, look at what they were wearing. They were wearing copper shoes or copper sandals and loincloths, and they were natural. Tattoos were on your energy lines, and they were meant to flow energy, and like everything was more sacred and symbolic. Yeah.
It is freeing. And like so my next step is to do the ice baths, because I already do the Wim Hof thing. Like I'll do the cold rinse and the shower, but I gotta get a trough and I gotta get ice, right? And that's like a wintertime thing. Because that's a lot of ice to keep that cold. But the other thing is I learned about this too, and this makes sense to me. Like testicular cancer and breast cancer and things of that nature is because we are not. Look at how many layers you have on those body parts, right? That are never exposed to the sun, that never see vitamin D, that never get absorb any of those natural things that we're supposed to be absorbing, right? And then that's how that happens. So I'm all for it.
And and if that's one thing that I love to tell people, like if you're not down for the gazing part or the sun, the sun yoga, then at least stop wearing a bra. I mean, because that is one of the worst things you can do for being a female is wearing a bra, and all your glands, they go right through your neck and through your armpits. So when you wear that pulls all of your lymph nodes up. And then you get all these toxins that are getting built up. That and dairy is probably one of the huge primary causes for breast cancer.
Listen, I'm not giving up cheese. I'll give up bras before I ever give up cheese.
As long as it's bougie cheese from Kroger.
What?
As long as it's bougie cheese, you know what I mean?
I literally not that I have much to I can't believe we're having this conversation. Not that I have much to have in a bra anyway, because my child has sucked me dry, but I'm not for it. I hated those things from day one anyway. And I believe that they were just created as torture devices.
I agree. I completely agree.
I don't think you can fully agree, but you can sympathize and maybe.
I mean, I'm all about females not wearing bras all day long. Hey, it's bad for your health. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to look out for you guys.
Purple Princess says, I only wore a bra for Flockfest because my shit would be slaying all over the place. I hate wearing one. Literally only wear one when I leave my house. I think we should free the titties.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right?
I'm only here to free titties.
Oh yeah, the cheese has got to stay. We're gonna collectively give up bras and they're fucking expensive.
Right? Yeah.
Fuck that shit for a guy. Like, I'm more apt to wear like a sports bra or like a cami or something like that, where it's just a little. You're in Wisconsin, you can't quit cheese. Yeah, I'm not ever gonna quit. I'm not ever gonna quit cheese. I don't eat that plastic shit cheese, but I'm not ever gonna give up cheese.
So I got a good one for you real quick before we wrap up our show. So we talked about the equator and I don't know what time it is. Okay, no. The equator, the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, right?
Okay.
So we have the Arctic Circle and at the north and the south. Do you want to guess what that coordinate is?
Is it a number?
It is a number, yes.
183? Is it 183?
6633.
6633.
North and 6633 south. And then the equator is 23.4 north, 23.4 south. Isn't that ironic, right? 6633.
It's not. I mean,
No.
it's not.
No.
It's not. We're still on the bra and cheese conversation.
I was going to say, we're back. Yeah.
What about men in underwear? I mean, I think it's the same concept. Like, can we talk about that for a second? Like, if as a male, I got questions, okay? Because I don't got shit dangling between my legs. So I got questions. I guess this is where my live is going tonight.
Hey, squirrels, here you go.
If your jeans are tighter than mine as a male, like, how is that healthy? How is that even comfortable?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. I've wondered the same thing, right? Like, what in the world? I've had a pair like somewhat like tight jeans before, and it's very uncomfortable.
What the fuck is government cheese? I need to find the government cheese and caves video. It's why we have gut ish. Is that why
I think she's talking about the plastic cheese you were talking about.
Oh, like the yellow cheese that comes in the
yeah.
That you can't. It just burns. It doesn't even melt like the snow.
Right.
I'll take the old cave cheese. Oh, the cheese in caves. Sure.
I don't know. I saw a video on TikTok the other day.
Hold on a second. Now I'm curious about cave cheese.
I've never heard of cave.
Cave aged cheese. Oh my God, it's $40. You can buy it on Etsy. Hold on a second. Cave aged. I'm not making this shit up. I'm gonna pull it up right here for you. You can look. We can all learn together. We're gonna learn about cheese tonight. Okay, this is our live. Welcome to the
I've
show.
never heard of this.
The cool creed of cave aged cheese. Cave aged cheese is the real deal. Just like the cheeses of the old, cave cheese is left to ripen in the cool confines and humid hospitality of a true-to-life cave, or an excellent fast, what is that word? Whatever. Over the centuries, cheesemakers have relied on caves to provide a consistent temperature and high levels of moisture required to turn wheels of milk curd into championship cheddars, premium parmesans, and great goudas, and the best Gruyere cheese on earth. Interesting. I had no idea. Look at all of these cheese options. Well, now I'm hungry. What do you know? The right amount of moisture, cool, consistent temperatures allows the cheese to ripen more slowly and evenly. Caves also allow the cheesemakers to treat the cheese rinds more easily with mold or bacteria to create bloomy and washed rind varieties. And now you know. So if you're ever on Jeopardy and they ask you if cheese belongs in caves, it sure does.
Apparently it does, right?
I don't know.
I've never heard. Yeah, I don't know either.
Joke's on you guys. Married into my father-in-law who grew up on a dairy farm in Wisconsin. So if I run out, I know a guy. The baby bells are made. Yeah, the fuck is cave cheese?
Is it really? I don't know who asked that. Who just said that about the dairy farm? But is it really illegal to sell like real milk, like
unpasteurized, like straight from the tit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's just nuts.
There's caves full of cheese. Okay. Now I'm fucking curious.
That sounds like a marketing thing to me.
Yeah, that sounds like it doesn't exist. Well, yeah, the caves are full of cheese because that's where they keep the cheese. That's where they keep the cheese. It has to be pasteurized.
And that's where they keep the pedophiles and the children.
Purple Princess did this last year. She's going to bring more cheese curds to Flockfest.
Deal. Are they better than Culver's?
They sell unpasteurized at Trader Joe's. Yeah, but I'm sure it's still in some sort of like pasteurized fucking regulation of some shit, right? Because don't they also sell I watched this one TikTok with this girl, who was it? Ranch Rumors it was. And she was hatched and she wanted to know, because birds are cool, because like chickens and shit, they won't hatch. They have to be sat for so many days consistently, right? Which is why like they only lay one egg a day, but then all of the chicks are born at once. It's because they won't actually start fertilization or start actually creating an embryo in the egg until they're at the ideal temperature for a period of time, right? So you can actually like have fertilized eggs sitting out on your counter or in your fridge or in your freezer, and then take them out sometime later and actually still get birds out of them. And she did this whole like experiment. She went to Trader Joe's and bought out of the fridge section fertilized eggs, and they fucking hatched.
No way.
Yeah,
That freaks me out.
Crazy. Yeah, it's cool as shit. It doesn't matter like the length of like they can be cold, they can be fucking frozen. They just, until they're sat or put in an incubator, they will not turn into chicks. They won't hatch.
See, this is what takes me, like, this is what interests me about the ice bath, right? Like, so like heat is relaxing, it melts you, like it heals your muscles. But what heals your mind?
The cold.
Right? And it doesn't do it. And so heat,
that shit.
But it's just like electricity and magnetism, men and women. So like the heat, it'll heal you now. Mm-hmm. But the cold, it takes 2, 3, 4 hours, 6 hours in, boom, you get like you know what I mean? It's like
the optimal time is 11 minutes a week. However, that's broken up. It's 11 minutes a week is the Wim Hof, is the ice dip, full ice dip. And it's like 60, 30, 90 seconds at a time. but it's 11 minutes for the week. But Purple Princess does the fire and ice. She goes from a 200-degree sauna and then she'll go into 40-degree water.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like, so I love the sauna, but my gym doesn't have an ice thing. I wish they did. Like, that's one, like, we need something like that around here. There's nothing like that, like, publicly.
My my apartment in Korea had a sauna. The one bathroom was a sauna. Like the whole bathroom was and then you would like there was like a drain in the floor. You would like shower like right there. Like the whole thing was tiled. Yeah, but they're big on saunas and shit like that over there. That was the best. Oh my God, I love me a sauna.
Yeah. But bidet, a sauna and a bidet.
I did. I had a bidet too. Everything was in Korean. I didn't know why. I was just pushing buttons until shit happened. Should have seen me do laundry. I didn't know we don't know what cycle we're doing, but they come out clean.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I had a bougie ass boss one time that had a bidet and I drive it like I stole it. You know what I mean?
I do actually. I do. I know what you're talking about. But well, this was a fun live. We do apologize about the sound issues. Paul, if you're still here, we will come back. We will do this again. I don't know what happened with that. That was super weird and totally unexpected. Do you have anything before we go?
I don't think so. No. I appreciate you having me on again and enjoy your guys' company.
Do we have anything in the comments before we wrap this up? Up to 2 weeks, possibly 3 for the chicken eggs.
That's crazy. I've never been a huge fan of eggs, really.
No? That's the only like protein I still eat. Unless my rooster keeps his shit. I'm going to eat him one of these days. It's going to be I might be a vegetarian. I'm going to eat that rooster out of principle. Thanks, Shitmess. I appreciate that. We just, the show must go on. We're just gonna keep rolling with it.
That's what they make tomorrows for.
So real quick, I want to touch on this actually, Jean. I want to. So yes, the cold bath, super healthy for you. Like they do so many things for your immune system, for your mental state. They break you out of that flight or flight response, right? Like it helps with your breathing. It helps regulate your heart rate. It helps with anxiety, depression, like weight loss. It helps with a number of things. But as far as the diets, and this was something that I looked into, is we're supposed to, and this might fall into like, I don't know if you guys get into we're going to go on a tangent here really quick, but that's okay. I don't know if you guys get into these moods where like you get stuck on a food. Right? Like you're only going to eat, like I've been on like an egg sandwich kick for, I don't know how long before that, it was like spinach and cheese wraps. You know what I'm saying? Like I get stuck on these kicks of foods where that's all I want to eat. And I really believe that because if you look also not so much a carnivore diet, it depends on your body type. And it also depends on your ancestor. Like look into an ancestor diet based on like where you're from and like where your lineage comes from, because that's the diet that you're going to want to be on. And it's true. Like when we get fixated on these foods, especially like seasonal foods, because if you go back to like a hunter-gatherer standpoint, you weren't going to be able to get summer squash in the fall. You know what I mean? So that wasn't going to be available. You weren't going to have fresh berries in the winter. You were going to eat your meat then. You were going to get your hearty foods and your starches to get you through the winters. And then in the summer, you're eating the light. I just got chills. You're eating the light things. You're eating the berries. You're eating the vegetables, right? You're planting the gardens. So I would look into like an ancestral diet and then also based on like your body type. Like I don't eat meat anymore. Like, yes, because of the whole like animal thing. And I don't think that I'm supposed, but my body doesn't agree with it. Anytime I try to eat red meat, I'm sick. So I'm just not going to do it anymore. And I've never been healthier. So I think I think it works for some people need meat in their diet and some people don't. That's it. That's all I had on that.
When you really dive into it, proteins, you know what I mean? You dive into what is a protein. And I mean, the carnivore, the meat only has the protein in it because it eats the grass. It eats the light, so it's eating the plants that have the light, that have the photosynthesis that we're taking in. Right. And so as long as you mineralize, you can eat. I mean, I do agree with you. Your ethnicity or your blood type does play a role in it, but you can definitely get everything you need to within the greens and be, the carnivore diet or non-carnivore diet. That's the whole part of the Bible, right? the bull and the plow. Virgo is when you take the crop out of the ground and you harvest. Bethlehem, the house of bread, you're prepping. But then Sagittarius, the bow, that's after the deer have mated and you give them a chance to reproduce. Then you kill like the moose or the deer for the winter time to survive. There's a give and take, I think.
100%. There needs to be that duality and that balance, that dark and light, that yin yang, the negative and positive. Well, Derek, on that note, thank you for winging this with me. We will definitely have Paul and Derek back on, and hopefully nothing fucks up that time. And we'll retouch on that subject again, because I did want to dive into the ley lines and everything. So we'll be back for that. Very special thanks to you. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Paul, for coming on and setting aside time for that. And everybody in the chat and whoever's going to watch the replay of this. So thank you all so much for joining tonight. It's always a vibe. Special shout out to James with Double and Low. He does the music for our intro and our outro. Also Goose with Here to Chew Bubblegum, and our sponsor Static and Noise. All of those can be found in the channels tab. And then also check out that community tab, because eventually I will do something with it. Real quick side note. I did talk about this in my live this morning, but anybody that's noticed, the just listen section of this network is gone. I got destructive and I deleted everything because I have this whole different idea of how I want to do it. So I'm going to start that section of this completely over. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be way better. Make sure you click the clickables along with clicking the like and the subscribe button. Leave a comment, drop something, share it, do something, click something. And stay tuned for more to come. Love you, flockers. Have a good night.